Said like reviews.
Interview. And here we'll discuss a few topics on how to productively prepare for the interview. So we'll go a few strategies, few topics here that's going to help you ace that next job interview you got coming up. I know you want some good tips, and we're here to help out. All right. So first things first, as far as your preparation, you want to familiarize yourself with your resume. The interviewer will usually have a copy of your resume in front of them and glance at it from time to time throughout the interview. They also may want additional details, so be prepared to explain your credentials clearly. Prior to the interview, make a note, a detailed bullet list of all the training, certifications, and experience that you have that's relevant to the position you're interviewing for. Make a brief note of that. All right. Also, while you're doing your prep for the interview, make sure you highlight your personal and professional journey. All right. You may be asked certain questions that require you to respond with real life experiences as the answer. It can be challenging to come up with that type of response on the spot. However, if you're prepared for it, you can answer those questions pretty seamlessly because it's going to be muscle memory. And relevant examples can be difficult to come up with on the spot. It really can. And a good way to prepare for those are to make notes. Some things you can, note are obstacles you've overcome, goals you've accomplished, how you learned from your mistakes, anything you've taught other employees, your involvement in projects and initiatives, what you've learned from other employees. As tempting as it is to prepare full answers, refrain from doing it. It's not realistic, and I can assure you, hiring managers are looking for authentic responses. Like they want to see that you're original and they want to see you're a professional. So try to practice short answers and just go off of a short bulleted list and have some short points that'll be insightful responses. That'll be the best way to go about it. It really is. Just ensure it's highlighting your personal as well as professional journey. That way, the interviewer has a good idea that you know how to separate professional as well as personal, but you're also letting them know that, hey, you have goals in mind and that's what you're here to accomplish. But again, you want to make sure you're highlighting these because it'll be a great response when it comes to a lot of the questions that you'll be asked, because these are a lot of the questions you're asked. As far as obstacles you've overcome, as far as what you've learned from other employees or what you've learned from leadership or anything that you've taught another employee. So these are all things that come up. So just make a bulleted point, some short responses for that. Make some notes on it. All right. When it comes to preparation, you'll also want to make sure you prepare answers to common interview questions. Most companies will ask a similar line of interview questions, and these questions will help interviewers get to know if you're a good fit for their company. The framing of your words when you respond is important to the message that you're trying to put out there. So, just do a quick Google search and you're usually able to come up with some additional examples of common interview questions. And usually they'll give you some brief responses or full responses as well. So you'll be able to be even more prepared, because I can tell you a lot of the questions can be similar, especially if you're paying close attention, although it may sound different because of the framing, but the nuts and bolts are the same. Trust me there. All right. So here's a few examples of some interview questions. All right. And these are rather common. I'm sure you've all heard this. If you have done an interview before, can you tell me about yourself? Now, this one can be a little challenging or a little bit uncomfortable when it's on the spot. So, get a response ready for that. What makes you a good fit for the job? Another one that can be a tad bit uncomfortable when asked on the spot. Why do you want to work here? That falls under that line as well. What are your strengths? And of course, what are your weaknesses? These are all common job interview questions. All right. So you also want to prepare questions to ask the interviewer. Most interviewers are trying to find out your interest in the company as well as your interest in the job position. So having questions ready that are relevant to the role and the company is a great way to demonstrate your interest. Engaging questions also helps the interviewer understand the level of preparation that you've done for the interview. If you're able or if you're provided with who will be conducting the interview, feel free to look them up on LinkedIn or online as well. Of course, professionally. Don't look them up personally. There's no need for that. It's not all that productive in my opinion. But look them up on LinkedIn. Be as prepared as you can. That way you're able to make a great first impression because that's going to be the long-lasting impression. All right. And final here, as far as it comes to prepping for the interview, you want to make sure you do a practice run. Conduct a mock interview with a family member or a friend. That way you're able to walk into that interview with confidence as well as get some of those cobwebs out. I mean, let's face it, you don't want to roll out of bed and then go to the job interview. You got all kind of cobwebs. You don't want the first time you're talking for the day to be to the person asking you questions about a job you want to get. You don't want that to be the case. So definitely get the cobwebs out. And like I said, it also helps build that confidence. So you have that muscle memory when they're asking you questions on the spot, you're able to just go ahead and give them a seamless response. Remember, the goal is to get comfortable with answering questions on the spot, as well as get comfortable with speaking about yourself, because that can be a bit uncomfortable. Let's face it. When you have to start talking about yourself and your accomplishments, it can be a little uncomfortable. It can put you on the spot. It can make you feel like it's challenging. And you want to make sure when you're hit with those questions that you're able to respond with no problems, no issues. Also, you may want to have a dress rehearsal to ensure you're comfortable in your interview attire as well. So, you know, if you're going to call your mom or your cousin and say, hey, here's 5 questions. Can you ask me those? Because, again, you want to keep it kind of short. And we're in a time and day where everything's fast paced. So asking someone to sit there with you for an hour is going to be very difficult. But if you say, hey, can you just ask me these 3 interview questions? Give them 5 and then call them or if they can just come in the room real quick, but just ensure you dress up. That way, hey, you may have not known that dress shirt you like has a tag that pokes you in the neck. And you may need to do some adjusting there, or the sleeves rub against your elbow or what have you. The pants don't fit a certain way. So that way you can make any adjustments you have. That way you don't have any distractions when you're responding, as well as you're comfortable having on that attire and responding to questions, especially when you're on the spot. Because I can say once you're dressed up and you're in that mode, it kind of puts your mind frame in that mode. And it'll help you be more comfortable when you're there. That way it doesn't feel like, you know, you're a fish out of water. All right. Looking for an all-in-one help guide for your career advancement? Well, look no further and subscribe to our content at unifiedachievement.com to gain unlimited access to our Career Center resource material. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share below.